just to get your opinion on this, in Birmingham City Council had to write off 60,000 fines because the people couldn't pay or wouldn't pay. Now, can you see a similar thing happening, that the people will look at this and say, I'm sorry, but you're using flawed science and a flawed narrative to extort money from me purely and simply on the grounds of this climate change agenda, which millions of people around the world are waking up to?
Well, this is an extremely interesting situation. But what's happened, Marcus, is that
Yeah.
you are now delving into the motivation of that. I'm saying I'm taking it a step backwards.
Okay.
In the same case of Palmer, I just need to emphasize John Goldfinger Palmer. Why we won that? Because the Crown issued the wrong notice to kick off confiscation. So anything that happened after confiscation was unlawful, and therefore that. It's exactly the same situation here. Those fines and the imposition of them are unlawful because there is no conviction. So it doesn't matter a feather or a fig, who wrote what, where, why, and whatever. It is per se, they are per se de facto unlawful.
Yes.
And if you plead your case on the basis that it's unlawful, consistent with the Human Rights Act, and that you cannot be fined unless you've been convicted or unless there is a proper court, I don't see Sadiq Khan, he's not even a lawyer to start with, but I don't see him as a judge or even as a magistrate, but if they introduced a bill whereby those fines and people who didn't pay them had to go to the magistrate's court for imposition, that's another story. I'd still say it's wrong. I still say it's flawed and that, but it would be quasi legal and lawful within the statute and within, English law.
So let's just walk me through this for our viewers, if you would please indulge me. I drive into Glasgow. I've got a out of sync, out of step Audi, and it doesn't comply with the regulations. I come home, I've got a £60 fine. I think to myself, or charge, fine, is probably the better word to say. And I decide to myself, I say, do you know what? I'm not going to pay this. Then I'll probably get a court summons, or, now this shouldn't happen, a call from the bailiffs. What's my next step from there?
Well, the next step from there is, of course, you need money for this, because this is not free and it's not legal aid, and if it just takes one person to take this matter right up to the High Court, the administrative court, the first of all, or even the divisional court, and then the Court of Appeal Civil Division, and you got yourself, one hell of a precedent that can't happen again. It just depends who has the money to be able to do it, because it's not free. Remember, the government, when it comes to fines and magistrates court, bank on the basis that you neither have the time, staff, inclination, or money to fund challenging whatever that they have invoked. It happens in prisons. 99% of prisoners haven't got the money to challenge anything.
Right.
You're looking at 100,000 people. You're lucky if 100 people could write a check, if they still exist, of £100 and it's still clear. You're lucky. It's the poor people that suffer, not the rich.